Get me pictures of Spider-Man! Hey guys, welcome back to Casting Commons, the show where we talk and discuss all things Pauper. I am your host Teasdale, and this is my co-host, the Spider-Man, the web slinger himself. Boo, boo, boo! Reese.
Hello.
I had to, do better than Old Man Screams at Cloud that we did for the intro, you see. Before we start, do not forget to support by rating us 5 stars on Spotify, and also follow us at Casting Commons 1 on Twitter for all the recent deck lists, and join our Discord for hot takes and be part of giveaways as well. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because we're back on YouTube. Woo!
Well remembered.
Yeah, boy. I probably should write that in that bidder. So first of all, how are you? Are you doing well?
Yeah, good. Very busy. So you've been left to the notes yourself, which you've clearly had a lot of time to do, because they've all got like fancy links in and stuff.
Look at that. What can I say? I wouldn't say time, but let's just say I've done a lot of dodging today. Ducking and diving. But yeah, just in case it was unclear, SPIDERMAN is out. The full set list is out. It's not out yet until like the end of September, I think. So essentially, this was supposed to be a 100-card set similar to Aftermath, right? Like Marching Machines Aftermath. Was the
Assassin's Creed.
An Assassin's Creed, and basically not be standard legal, and then for reasons that we will not divulge into, they decided to make it a sort of small set, but a full set. So it wasn't originally supposed to have commons in, it wasn't supposed to have all that, and here we are.
When you look at like the full set list, it definitely looks like just thrown together. Like there's a lot of cards you're like, oh, that looks really well designed, and then you're like, that's just a copy paste of a card from Assassin's Creed. Like for most of them. It's like a template set that they've just added a load of chaff to.
I am Switzerland on this matter. So that was the original idea. There was going to be no commons, but now there's commons, and they've also designed it as is it draft 2, pick 2 or something? I'm not going to lie. They've made a new draft format for it.
Again, because it wasn't supposed to be drafted, so they've had to cobble something together.
So, yeah. That's basically where we're at with that. So now we have it, and we have some commons. I don't know if these commons were ever meant to be commons, which to me also was a worrying thought, right? Obviously, if the set was... So yeah, that was the worrying thought, right? Is a set that doesn't have any commons in, and then they all of a sudden put commons in. I don't know if that meant some of these cards that were uncommon or rare or whatever would get downshifted straight to common because they wanted to put something else in. That to me was a worrying thought when we dived into this set, that we were going to get like overpowered stuff. That does not seem to be the case at the moment, or very unlikely to be. But we'll dive into the set. There is some cards that are interesting, has potential for some archetypes, maybe even bolster some or make new ones, who knows. But we're going to dive into them. We're going to do a bit more on the top 5. We're going to sort of do a quickish overview, as much as Reese can keep me online from rambling. But yeah, so that's what our Pauper thought of the week is going to be. And yeah, I think you should start. Don't know why. Just you start.
Yeah, so the first card that we are going to look at is, I think, even the first common in the set as well, which is City Pigeon, which is a 1/1 flyer for a single white mana, and when it leaves, it makes a food token.
No.
So I guess quite a simple little card, like basically just in like the food cat sort of area. It's for like your sack outlets, like your Deadly Dispute type effects. It's 2 sacks essentially. Like it's a bit of value. It's not going to set the world on fire, but for the decks that can utilize the food and utilize the body, it's probably quite a reasonable card. I think again, it's another card that will severely miss Witch's Oven being downshifted to a common. If that happens, this card might pop off with Cauldron Familiar, but
yeah, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, right? It literally is. It's probably. I think the thing is, though, the rate in which we're getting foods outweighs the playability of the foods.
Or the payoff.
Or the payoffs. Yeah,
yeah, there's very few payoffs.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of food, but you've literally got like what? Cauldron familiar?
Yeah. There's a few other bits, but like not to a playability level.
But yeah, as you say, it's just an interesting card. You can sack it, you make the food, and then you can sack the food to bring the cat back. Sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of fodder for 1 mana.
Yes. And there's also a pigeon with a bagel around its head on the art.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool one. Keeping to the white theme, which is Spectacular Tactics, which is 1 and a white for an instant, and you can choose one. You put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains hexproof until end of turn, or you can destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Essentially, this is like a Destroy Evil-esque sort of card. It has Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, and then something else tacked onto it. Destroy enchantment on Destroy Evil is obviously a very relevant piece of text, but also killing like terrors and cryptic serpents as well. But if you can make use of the counter and hexproof, like something like Heroic, maybe, this card seems pretty solid, both protection and removal.
I think that's the main thing. If you can really utilize that first mode, obviously it's not a great rate, 2 mana for +1/+1 and hexproof. Like you're probably getting that for 1 mana most of the other the time with other cards. But if you can utilize that first mode, and then if the second mode is going to be relevant enough, I could see it even being like main decked in something like Heroic. I guess the only issue is like, is Heroic that bothered about killing big creatures because you're making your own creature big?
Who knows?
Weird one.
Yeah,
Weird one.
for sure. But definitely just another one of those mix like cards in the mix. More options is always good, I guess.
The third and final white card that we're going to mention is Spider-Man Web Slinger.
Boo, 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 boo. Sorry.
Which is 2 and a white for a vanilla 3/3. It's legendary, so it doesn't get hit by cast down. And it also has Web Sling or Web Slinging, which is basically you compare a white as an alternate casting cost, but you have to return a tapped creature you control to your hand. To its owner's hand, if you've stole that creature, I guess. So essentially it's a worse core Skyfisher, but also can be a better core Skyfisher, maybe. It's a lot less versatile with core Skyfisher. You can't be picking up synths. You can't be playing Thraben Inspectors and then playing this for 1, because the guy has to be tapped, which is quite a big cost. But maybe in something like White Weenie, where you're aggressive, you've got a lot of Inspectors, you've got other stuff with like Rafine's Informant with ETB value that you are going to be attacking with. Maybe 1 mana 3/3 that rebuys one of your value guys and doesn't die to cast down is good enough.
Yeah, I definitely think this is just another option. I think I don't know if it'll replace Skyfisher in White Weenie, but I don't think
it does.
But obviously, as you say, hitting hitting Idyllic Range seems like a big loss for White Weenie, but the upside for this is there's quite a lot of tapping that's not attacking as well with White Weenie as well. So you tap 3 white creatures for Battle Screech, you tap an untapped white creature for Prismatic Strands. You do have that value, so you can almost get some sort of agency in what you want to bounce. And then also going even deeper into that with maybe not even White Weenie, but Boros, for example. Boros has ran Springleaf Drum before as well, which is pretty interesting, food for thought. But yeah, the main thing is obviously it's a legendary creature, so it doesn't get cast down, which I think in White Weenie is a lot more prevalent too, because they don't have reach like other aggressive decks do, bar obviously the Guardian Pledge and stuff. They don't have Bolt and Galv Blast, etc. So cast down and stuff is more relevant because you can cast down something alright, okay, they can't kill me now because of this. So yeah, I definitely could see this see and play in White Weenie for sure. One other thing is it definitely looks like it pops off with Embiggen. That's a lot of text, a lot of types. Yeah. Legendary creature, spider, human hero, +5/+5.
+5/+5.
There you go. Abzan Infect with Tainted Strike and Embiggen incoming. The next one is a first blue card, and I think, is it the only blue card we're talking about here? Yes.
Yeah.
Is Oscorp Research Team, which is probably an odd one that probably isn't on a lot of people's radars. It's more just something I want to highlight for like a food for thought sort of card, is that if there is an infinite mana combo deck that is around 4 drops, that's like Dimir House Guard and stuff, this becomes your sort of like Valakut Invoker or your whatever the third Path Savant, the 7 mana draw 2.
Yeah.
Basically, you can search for this with Dimir House Guard is basically the idea. So yeah, just if that ever does come about.
Yeah, it's a nice one to have as an option, I guess, but it's basically just going to be used to do unfair things, essentially.
Yes.
Moving into the black cards, which we have, again, a couple of. The first one is Swarm, Being of Bees, which is 2 and a black for a 2/2 with flash and flying. But it also has Mayhem, which is similar to Madness. It's you can cast it from your graveyard for a single black if you've discarded it this turn. But unlike Madness, you have to play it at a time where you could normally cast it. It's an interesting one because it is a lot more clunky than Madness. In some aspects where you can get hit by graveyard hit because it has to be in your graveyard. If you're not casting it, like discarding it and immediately casting it, you're going to get hit by graveyard hit. Although this one has flash, a lot of the other ones don't. Like the other Mayhem cards don't have flash, so you're restricted to casting them in your main phase, essentially. But because this has flash, it gives it a bit of extra utility. It makes it quite useful with blood tokens. You can end of turn pop a blood token, discard this, cast it, and you've sort of made a 5th Kitchen Imp, which is one of the best cards in the Black Red Madness deck. So if you want Kitchen Imp, I guess I was going to say 5 through 8, but you probably don't want 4 copies of the legendary one, maybe.
Maybe.
But if you want extra Kitchen Imps, this is sort of an option. It's not, I would say, not as good as Kitchen Imp, but it has upsides, given that it also doesn't die at cast down as the Spider-Man does as well.
And it's also cheaper as well. Like it naturally costs 3 mana. There's like obviously it's a lot easier
if you're casting it.
Sometimes it just happens. You know, I've cast a fair few Fiery Tempers in my time, and you're like, I'm so glad this doesn't cost 4.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But yeah, the no haste I think is the biggest one for me. It means like the Lutons and the sorcery, like 2 mana discard draw 2s are just a lot more underwhelming than they would have been with the Kitchen Imp.
Definitely. Moving on to the next black card. A card that I definitely was not high on when it first got spoiled, but the more I see this card, the more it really does intrigue me. And this is Venom Evil Unleashed. And it's a 5 mana 4/5, 4 and a black, for a 4/5 with Death Touch, and it's a legendary creature symbiote villain, so another Embiggen powerhouse. And then it has an ability which is 2 and a black, exile this card from your graveyard, put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature, and then it gains Death Touch until end of turn, and you can activate it only as a sorcery. So that bit is relevant, but doesn't actually matter. The reason why I do like this card is it's a 5 mana 4/5 black legendary creature, so it dodges bar Crackland Shaman. It dodges pretty much most mainstay removal at the moment. Which is...
I guess Skred's the biggest one that will get it, but yeah, like Lightning Bolt, Gal Blast, Cast Down, Snuff Out, Spin in Darkness, it just misses them all.
So yeah, which really does intrigue me at the fact that like some decks are built with Cast Down and you know, that's it in mind, and that's all they've got, Cast Down, Snuff Out. This just can't be killed.
Yeah. And I think as well, like, if you're looking at it as a maybe if you're playing it in Gardens and you're playing against something like Jund Wildfire, are you forcing them to keep Crackland Shamans in the deck and Toxin Analysis so they can kill this thing and nothing else? It sort of puts them in quite an awkward position, because if you've got a 4/5 Death Touch, you've got removal spells, like it's gonna kill them because they have no removal for it unless they keep Crackland in, which is just bad against you there.
Which definitely, like, if So even if you get to a point where someone plays Gardens, for example, or even Jump Wildfire, plays 2 copies of these, and then somebody, then that means then the mainstay list then starts to run 2 Terminates, for example, instead of 2 Cast Downs, and then people stop playing this. This card has then successfully done its job in the fact that Cast Down is now not free, which would be a success in my opinion, which is pretty good.
Or the shift to only Terminates, and then the Black Guardian, the Guild Pact, is now cracked because it doesn't die to Terminate.
There you go. Look at that.
Enemy of the Guild Pact, or whatever it's called. But yeah, it is actually quite a sweet one, this. I think it's weirdly probably one of the closest ones to actually seeing play as well, as a 5-mana 4/5 guy.
Yeah. There is, which we didn't mention, there is a blue beetle, which is kind of in the similar vein, but just infinitely worse. It's a 3/3, but it's legendary, so it doesn't die to Crackling Shaman and Cast Down, but dies to all the other mainstay removal and Bolt and stuff. So, but it is a lot worse. That's why I didn't put it on the list.
Yeah. Moving out of black into the red cards, which we have a few more red cards than we have the other cards. Masked Meower is the first one. It's essentially a insolent Neonate where they've changed Menace to Haste. It's a 1-mana 1/1 that is a spider cat hero, apparently. Not legendary. I'm not sure what dictates if something's legendary or not, but it's a 1-mana 1/1 with Haste, and you can discard a card and sacrifice it to draw a card.
It's it's pretty solid, to be fair. The only thing is that instant Neonate's sort of the only deck I've seen Neonate in recently is Red Dredge, which is sort of drifted out, and then it's like
it's even cutting it in Red Dredge, right? It's down to like a 2/.
Yeah, so it's like, does this with Haste make it better? And you want to play 4/? Probably not, but it's there. It's another option, and people will probably try it. Yeah. The next card is another interesting one for something like Red Madness, which is Romantic Rendezvous, or also Red Dredge as well. And it is Romantic Rendezvous is 1 red sorcery, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. The only real major thing about this is it's another option for that sort of 2-mana discard, draw 2 sort of slot. But the way it's worded, basically, if you are Hellbent, you just draw 2 cards. Just straight up 1 red, draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Which
the discard a card isn't part of the cost of playing the spell. So if you just have no cards, you just draw 2 cards.
Yep.
It obviously lacks the bonuses of the other spells that we see mainly. Obviously, Highway Robbery has plot and the ability to sack lands rather than discard cards. And Grab the Prize obviously deals damage when you discard an on-land. This has neither of those bonuses, but it has the if you're empty-handed, it's just 2-mana draw 2.
Yep. So it's pretty interesting. Just another option for them. Obviously, as we've talked about Red Dredge, it could potentially go in there as well. You are hellbent a lot with that deck, so maybe, as you said earlier.
I think obviously it's probably just worse than Robbery in a lot of places, because even Robbery, if you're empty-handed, they'll just sack the land.
Yep.
But yeah, if you are going to end up empty-handed a lot and Grab the Prize isn't really working for you, it's obviously quite a good slot to fill in that regard. The third and final red card, which I have just added because I didn't realise you hadn't put it in, but I think it's quite a cool one, is another Mayhem card. It's Spider Islanders. It's a 3 and a red for a 4/3. Just vanilla guy, but it's got Mayhem for 1 and a red, which is the new Madnessy type ability. I think it's a pretty unassuming card, but just we don't have that many Madness creatures that are cheap. A lot of the Madness creatures in Pauper, like the Madness costs are like 3+. And for something like we've seen the Madness Burn deck sort of develop from the Rakdos Madness deck. I was more thinking, could we see the other way where we see a more creature-focused Madness deck? Just sort of a one to think about. It's not not the most amazing rate of anything, given it's a 4-3. I think I'd be a lot more confident if it was a 4-4, so it had that ball protection in. But yeah, could be an option.
Yeah, you could definitely see it. Like, there's been like mono red / red green madness decks before, with obviously Root Waller and is it Reckless Worm or whatever the 3-mana one, Arrogant Worm. You know, there's all that sort of stuff where this could definitely see play in that sort of thing. Like, it's obviously probably the best rate they've got so far. So
Wild Mongrel come back to us.
Yeah. Plus, moving on to green cards, we have Scout the City, which is a 1 and a green sorcery, and you choose one. You can look around. Dun, 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 dun. Mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them into your hand, and you gain 3 life. Or you can bring down. How threatening. And that is a plummet. Destroy that creature with flying. So it's kind of like a Rumble that looks at less cards, but gains 3 instead of giving you a spawn. But then also has plummet tacked onto it.
Yeah, I think it's sort of similar to the white card that we spoke about that's like the Destroy Evil. It's like a worse Rumble, but then you get the bonus of destroying a creature with flying. So if that is really relevant, I could see it seeing play. Or if you just need a million Rumbles and you don't want to play like, say, Wayfinders and stuff.
Yeah.
Could be something. 3 life's not irrelevant as well. Like, having little bits of tacked on life gain gives decks a lot more game against like the red mana decks in particular.
Yep.
If you just play like a couple of these, that's like a turn or 2 extra that you get to be alive and play the game.
Yeah. 3 plus life is way more significant than what they've been recently doing with like 2 life, especially in like AoE. A lot of the stuff was gained 2.
Yeah.
And like obviously every 3 life you gain, that's a bolt they now have to cast extra.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sweet. Maybe like obviously it hits permanence, this card, like Rumble, so maybe there's something in, I don't know, Bogles maybe, but probably not. Something where you want permanence that obviously, like as you say, Wayfinder doesn't hit lands, only hits lands, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've probably just been spoiled by how good Rumble is, that this is just not going to get a look in because the second mode is not relevant enough to justify the losing a free mana, essentially.
And maybe would be also higher on it if it was an instant as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Hitting, obviously, doing the Rumble at instant speed is obviously miles better, but also being able to potentially look at countering a spell stutter sprite is pretty relevant as well, in Bogles, or something like that. Interesting.
I guess sort of on the Bogles tangent, our final green card is Spider-Rex and Daring Dino, which is a 4 green for a 6/6 reach trample with ward 2. It's a Bogle, right? It's 6 mana 6/6 is a Bogle.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's also a legend as well, so it doesn't get hit by cast down, even if they pay the ward 2.
It also is a great and big in target yet again.
Yeah, it has 5 types again. And big and stonks going on.
That's what it is. This card's interesting, right? I don't know how good this card will be, right? It's a 6 mana 6/6, but I would assume the only place I could say this is obviously red green ramp, would be my assumption. A reach trampler, obviously Colossal Dreadmaw, basically with ward 2 and legendary is kind of what this is. Colossal Dreadmaw's never really seen play. Colossal Dreadmask, however, has, but unable to being cast down is not irrelevant.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't think it gets there. I don't think it's pushed enough. I think if it had haste, it would just be like, yes, let's play this. Or if it costs 5, so you could cascade into it. Even if it was a 5/5, I think at that point it would probably be playable.
Yeah.
But obviously we've seen Dreadmask for a little bit, which is sort of the same thing. It can't get cast down, essentially, because it sticks around, but even that sort of fell out of favour, didn't it, really?
But yeah, definitely like something to think about, right, for sure. A 6/6 reach trample ward 2's nothing to scoff at, but it's how often A, getting to 6, and B, would this be better or worse than something else?
Yeah.
For sure. The so that was the last green card. Now going on to some multicolored cards. The first one is Skyward Spider, which is white blue like hybrid, so 2 mana for a 2/2 with Ward 2, and it is a creature spider human hero. I don't understand why this one isn't legendary. Also,
I don't understand why half of these aren't legendary. Like I wonder if these are the ones that got added to the set, and they were just like, "Oh, we've got too many legends. We can't add more."
I don't know.
Like there just seems to be no logic because this is clearly a main character, but then like the dinosaur, like Stegodon the dinosaur man, is a legendary creature, but the Skyward Spider isn't. And then I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither. But moving on to it, what it does, it is a 2/2 with Ward 2, and then this creature has flying as long as it is modified, and modified, if you don't know, is equipment, aura, and counters are counted as modifications. So you could either... It's pretty interesting, right? Because obviously the first point is probably auras, right? For like Bogles or like blue-white Bogles, if you want to even dive that route, or even, I say, a white heroic, as we spoke about before we started.
Well, heroic can do the counter thing as well. Pretty well. I honestly think if this was legendary, it would probably be a pretty good choice for heroic.
Yeah,
it's obviously slightly worse in the long term than the Chrome Skyguard because that grows like from every target. This doesn't. But in that deck, it's essentially a Chrome Skyguard that then couldn't be cast down and has built-in ward. But yeah, once you get rid of the legendary, so it can still just be cast down. Like Ward 2 is annoying if you're going as fast as Bogles, trying to turn 4 someone. I think heroic generally struggles to go that fast, especially when the threat is 2 mana.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But I definitely really do like this card. I think it's pretty interesting.
It's like cool out in White Weenie, I guess, as well, with the land.
Yeah.
Delivered.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of like random uses for this, right? Like obviously a 2/2 or even a 3/3 flying, if obviously you've got an equipment aura or counter on it, is pretty good rate for 2, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to try this card. Like I've obviously mentioned to you that I will definitely be brewing some like Cloudfin Raptor pile with this or something, trying to get some counters going. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, for sure. The next card, which I don't know how good it is, but I'm just going off what people have been saying, which is why it's worth highlighting, is Mob Lookout, which is 1 and a blue and a black hybrid, so it costs 2 mana. And then it's creature, human, rogue, villain, and it's when this creature enters, target creature you control connives, and it is an 0/3. So this card doesn't seem great. It's like an 0/3 that connives, right? Which isn't that good. The interesting thing that's people have obviously been comparing this to is like a weird Seagate Oracle Modern Age sort of hybrid in like FAMs as a flicker, which it seems like an infinitely worse body to me than both of those. It's been a 1/4, I guess, isn't irrelevant.
It also doesn't net cards though.
It doesn't. But yeah, like obviously over time, like Modern Age obviously will do it twice and then leave you with a 2/3 flyer, but then you can't flicker it.
Yeah.
Well, you can flicker it. Yeah.
If you're flickering it, you're getting card advantage.
Yeah. So it is. I'm not super hyped on this card for sure.
No.
But it's probably worth trying in FAMs, but at this point, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't really see it personally. Yeah.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a very weird one.
Moving on?
Moving on, there's one, again, I just want to add, which is the Spider Manifestation, which is 1 and a hybrid red-green, so 2 mana for 2/2 with reach, and it can tap and add red or green. And then whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, untap this creature. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire, but I feel like if we get to a point where Stompy is casting 4-drops again, or spells that cost 4 that they're paying less for, this might be something in something like that, but I don't think it's worth much more than that brief comment.
Yeah, it has reach. 2/2,
Yeah.
blocks phase stuff.
Adds mana.
Yeah, cast it off burn tree, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's
Nest Invader.
Moving on. Yeah, well, yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's sort of a Nest Invader. Moving on to the artifacts. The first one, again, which I'm not massively high on, but it is 1 mana food. So we've got even more food. It's Bagel and Schmear. I'm assuming that's what that says. I'm not American, so I have absolutely no idea.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a 1 mana food. It has pay white, tap, sack it, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature and draw a card. Activate only as a sorcery, because that needed to be added to there.
Just in case.
And then it has the normal food text, so you can pay 2 and sacrifice it and gain 3 life. But that also has your draw card tacked onto it as well.
So I think my initial problem is this: both of the abilities are tied to the draw a card. If it literally just put it down another line, I'd have been happy.
If it was a chromatic star, basically,
yep. If it was chromatic star, if it was nutrient block or whatever, like I would literally be sure. What more 1 mana foods that draws when it dies is definitely what these sort of food decks need. But yeah, this is not it.
No.
Nope. 1 mana food, but nope. The next card is again another interesting card that's probably just missing out. Is Eerie Gravestone, which is 2 mana artifact. When this artifact enters, draw a card. So you're already getting yourself pretty excited, 2 mana artifact that draws a card. And then it goes downhill from there. It says 1 black, sack this artifact, mill 4 cards, and you may put a creature card from among them into your hand. So the mill 4 has to include a creature to return, which is probably the downside of this. If this was a Omen of the Dead that just literally returns any creature, I probably would have said this card would have been playable.
Yeah, I think having to hit the creature in the 4 cards is definitely the sticking point, because you need it in a deck that is dense enough to make it so it is essentially 2 mana draw card again. Which at that point, you're just not set up for playing cards like this.
Yes. That is exactly that.
The final artifact is another pretty odd one. It's a Steel Wrecking Ball. It's 5 mana for an artifact. When it enters, it deals 5 damage to target creature. So not really a playable card at that. But it has tacked onto it 1 in a red, discard this card, destroy target artifact, which is an uncounterable shatter effect, which is somewhat interesting. I'm not sure how much it matters that it's uncountable when I guess we have cards like Shenanigans that you can just cast and get back if it's countered, or Ancient Grudge.
You've also got the split second one,
you can
right?
flash it back. Which one's that?
Is it Siege Smash? That's it.
Oh yeah.
The split second one, right? As well. But the only big thing for me is, I guess you can get this off Ancient Stirrings.
Or Rumble.
That sort of thing. Yeah. So you could play this in Monstertron or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like a runaway boulder, but that shatters. Obviously, runaway boulder you can get off Mystical Teachings as well. So don't play this in Flickertron, thinking, it's alright, I'll replace my runaway boulder with this. Don't do that. Yeah, it's interesting. Always good to have more uncountable stuff, and if you need it, it's there. But I don't think this is definitely going to break anything for sure. The last one is actually 5 cards. We're cheating a little bit. Which is basically allied coloured Surveil lands. So these are literally exactly like the Scry lands. They enter tapped. They add a allied colour at red, green, black, red, blue, black, blue, white, green, white. And then they have 4 tap Surveil. So Surveil is infinitely better than Scry.
Yeah.
So that, like, leagues apart, but they're in the wrong colours.
Yeah.
Every single scry land that we could think of that sees player is all enemy coloured. The red-white one, the blue-green one, and the black-white one, and the black-green one have all seen player, to my knowledge, and your knowledge. So, I don't know if these will replace those. So, like, something like, for example, like, Boros could probably get away with running a red X or a white X, depending on the configuration. The turbo, like, the blue-green fog could probably get away with running an off-colour one. So, it's not the end of the world, for sure, but it would just be so much easier if there were just all 10 of these.
I think especially in fog, which is I guess fog and black-white are the two main ones for me that I think are the most needed. The Surveil is so much better than the Scry in both those decks.
Yep.
In Boros, it doesn't really matter, like, unless you're playing, I guess, Rally the Peasants, or I guess maybe Luton. You've not got that much to take advantage of it. But yeah, in Black, White and Fog, especially, the Surveil is a lot better. So I could see it being worth playing it as an off-coloured land. But I imagine we're going to get the other 5 of these at some point, right?
Honest.
Well,
wait.
Yeah. Although these are now tied to Spider-Man. I guess they'll give them sort of generic names. Suburban Sanctuary is sort of the least generic one. The rest are sort of fairly generic, so they could go somewhere else.
I was just checking that. To be fair, the Strixhaven ones, right, are only enemy coloured. There's no allied coloured scries, right? No.
Maybe
So
we'll get them then.
Maybe we won't get that. It. These are the Surveil lands, and the other ones are the Scry lands. I just thought, then I was like, I've never actually seen anyone play Scry in allied colours. But then I was like, well, they're probably bad. And I was like, wait, is there actually any? So, maybe not.
I guess one thing that this might take away is the blue-white one could be like a core gate, like one of maybe. But a tap land that's not a gate is sort of not really what you want to be doing in that deck. But the Surveil is good because you've got lots of stuff that comes back from the graveyard, and you're a control deck, so you've got time to be doing it. But
yeah, that's interesting for sure. Obviously, these aren't typed either, so it's like not like
no.
So I think like Colgate runs like a 1 beachfront, but that's for colour fixing purposes for Lorien.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting for sure. And that. Go on.
I was just going to sort of say, like, overall, it's a very strange set. Like, we've pulled quite a few cards out of here, but I would probably take the under on like 2 seeing play.
Yeah.
Like, I have not much confidence that most of these will see play. Like, they all just seem like core set power level or even less. Which is why I think they've maybe just been added after the fact, because like the type of cards they are, they look like limited filler cards. Like, oh, we need to draft this set, we need a 2-mana black removal spell, we need shock. Like that type of thing. We need a cancel. We need an Oblivion Ring. Like, they're just like super, super generic, like limited chaff, basically. I think maybe the white Spider-Man, the 3-mana with the web slinging of 1, and the Venom or the Bee Guy are maybe like the most like pushed ones.
Bee Guy.
Bee Guy, that's what he is. He's a swarm of bees. But he's legendary. Is each individual bee legendary?
I don't know.
But yeah, I think, to be honest, for me, that's probably a positive overall, because it was going to be awkward if loads of this scene play, because they're not on Magic Online. Or they're going to be on Magic Online and Arena in like a different guys, like name something else with different art.
Yeah.
So I think the fewer of these that see play, the better. But I would definitely say it is headed that way. Like, looking at this set, it just looks like these were an afterthought, basically.
Yeah, there's definitely the chance of that for sure. I think I do agree. Like, obviously, I don't think any of these are going to break anything or make that many waves for sure. I think a lot of them are very much, at least we'll try this in a deck and see, and it'll most likely be pretty bad for sure. Which is not the worst place to be, but it definitely doesn't look like the most smoothest or cleanest looking set for sure. Anything else to add before we move on?
No, I have to move on.
First of all, do not forget to join the Discord. There is card market credit and play points to be given away. The next one will be the end of September, so please join the Discord, enter hot takes, or even give us Pauper thoughts, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. Look forward to chatting Pauper rubbish with you in there. Moving on to some tournament news. Just gonna fly through these tournaments. We've got a few that's been added, to be fair, so pretty interesting. I've now put them in date order due to Reese's request because it annoyed him, which rightfully so. So firstly is in a couple of weeks, which is September the 20th in Labryrinthe, Chislehurst, 64-player Pauper event. Link is in the description. That is going to be a sweet one all the way down the country for us.
It's next week.
Is it next week?
Yeah, you should know that. It's the 20th.
Is it next week?
It's Saturday. Oh. Not this Saturday, next Saturday.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's next Saturday. There you go. At least they'll keep me in check. It's not like it's an important day or anything. Anyways, London Pauper Showdown number 3, the dreaded return, October the 18th, 2025. And that is going to kick off at 10:30. And the cap is currently at 80 players with £250 worth of prizes. And there's going to be event playmats, all drawn by their artist who does like the teachings for teachings and stuff like that or whatever. So that'd be pretty cool. The link is in the description. You can buy tickets now. And then the next one, also in October, 25th of October, is in Leipzig. 128 player cap for Germany's biggest tournament for Pauper the people. Check out the link in the description below for the £20 entry, and it'll be at Conne Island. It's going to be a sweet one. Woo, we're nearly there. Pauper Spezl 2, I think, is how that's said, is in Munich on the 22nd of November. 64-player cap. They'll have signed cards in the prize pool. They're going to have tokens available on the stalls all day. They've got an event sponsor and a couple of artists. And I think the guy that did Writhing Chrysalis is there, I think, or something. Or there's some artists that are there. There's also some like wooden tokens as well, which looks pretty interesting. So yeah, check it out. That is at pauperspezl.de. The link will be in the description, and the tickets are €15. So check that out. And then the big one. Oh, go on. Have I ruined it?
I was just going to say, I rate signed cards in the prize pool. I think that's quite a cool idea.
That is a sweet one, to be fair, for sure. So check out that link in the description for those the prize pool info and everything is in there. So check it out. But the big one, the one we covered last week, 29th of November. If you're in a league and are registered, if your league's registered for a buy, contact your TO. If you live right near us, contact this guy. He will give you the code to buy some tickets. And that is on Saturday, the 29th of November at Secret Space in Birmingham. And they are prepped for 8, maybe 9 rounds with tickets costing £40 with the capacity of 210 players. Woo! That'll be mega if that goes off. Public tickets will go on sale Monday the 22nd of September. So if you are not in a league and want to go, that is when you will be able to enter to the public. It'll be a pretty sweet one. Moving on to some challenges.
Yeah. So the Friday, the 5th of September, 44 players. First place was Mono Black Sack. Second place was Rally Red. Third was Wall Spy. Fourth was Mono Blue Fair. Fifth was Corgate, just returning from the abyss. Sixth was Mono Blue Terror. Seventh was High Tide. And eighth was Gardens. And then the 2 near misses. Ninth was another copy of Mono Blue Terror. And 10th was Jund Wildfire. Yeah, a few interesting ones here. I guess starting at the top, Bermuda on Mono Black Sack. A very similar list to the one we saw last week. A few tweaks throughout it, but generally the same list. I think he has slightly more card draw, slightly lesser Curse Marauders and Unearths in the main, from what I remember. But I think Hamuda on mono black sack and playing 4 Perigee Beckoners is a pretty good sign that that card is here to stay in that deck.
Yeah, I think so. That card is just so sweet, especially with like so many different cards in the deck. Shambler, Supernatural Stamina, all the draw twos, Rite of Consumption, all that sort of stuff. Works wonders.
The second place list, the Rally Red list, is giving off some like old Kuldotha vibes with 2 experimental synthesizers back in the deck. It's quite an interesting one. It's sort of, again, similar to the list we seen last week with running the Manamorphos. But then cut down... oh no, that isn't cut down. Cut down on the extra burn spells. I think 2 Chain Lightnings to run 2 experimental synths alongside the 4 Reckless Impulse effects. So it has a lot of draw power in this deck with the 4 draw twos, the 2 synths, and then 4 Manamorphos to just cantrip through. Trying to get back some of that Kuldotha greatness.
One can hope.
I guess then, other than that, the Corgate is the only other one I had pulled out. I don't know if you've got any further than that, but just a pretty classic Corgate list, to be honest. It's even got the Guardian of the Guild Pact in the main. 4 cats, 4 hawks, 2 medics and a Guardian. 4 Modern Age, 4 Journey. So, like, full-on old-school removal package. 2 Thraben Charms, I guess, is the most recent addition. Yeah, other than that, Corgate's doing Corgate things. Even the sideboard is just sort of blasts, breath weapons, and dust to dust.
Yeah, nothing's really changed for the list, has it, really? Obviously, can suit the red blast, which is fairly mainstay now. It's got the white blasts in form of dust to dust, and then and then blue metal blasts and hydro blasts to round it off. Seems pretty solid. Again, I think the deck's pretty well positioned. I think it has been well positioned for quite a while. I just think nobody wants to play it. But yeah.
I think that's always Colgate's problem. It's not the most interesting like player pattern. You're always basically doing the same thing every game, I guess.
Yeah. But sweet to see it make a return. Obviously, maybe people have to then consider this deck or consider playing against this deck moving forward. Yeah, nothing really else from me to add for this this top 8 really, apart from the 10th place, Jund Wildfire's the Gixian Infiltrator list, which seems to be becoming more mainstay, but other than that...
With a main Fairy Macabre.
Yep. The Walker special. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it's so wild. Moving on to the Saturday challenge. Saturday the 6th of September, 47 players. First place, our hero, Elves in first.
Woo!
Second place, Mono Blue Terror. Third place, Mono Blue Fae. Fourth place, High Tide. So Elves and then 3 Mono Blue decks.
Yep.
Fifth place, Gardens. Sixth place, High Tide. Seventh place, Jeskai Wildfire. And 8th place, Green Red Ramp. And then the 2 near misses. Another copy of High Tide in 9th. And then 10th was Jund Gardens. Again, some pretty interesting ones. The Elves list is the list we've seen, or is Sheeb, sorry, playing the list that we've seen them play for the past couple of weeks with the Tangled Islet in the sideboard and the Arbor Elves in the main. I think they've tweaked the sideboard a bit, but it's much of a muchness, really. There's 4 Hydroblasts, a single Envelop, which I think went down. The 1 Tangled Islet, 3 Pulse with Marassa, which seems to be sort of a newish mainstay for elf sideboards, to be honest, especially like the more green heavy lists. And then just your usual like Vitagazis, Mezfiends, Avenging Hunter.
Deck seems pretty solid, to be fair.
The 3 mono blue decks after it are basically all just as you would expect. The second place is Discover N, which I believe he was also in like 6th or something. Yeah, 6th on the Friday. With Mono Blue Terror. Stock list. Nothing even the sideboard is the same. The
Standard.
Mono Blue Fair list from Bath has 2 of the Gale Blades in, and 2 Harrier Strix as like a split, 2-2 split. Other than that, there's nothing too standoutish about it. There's a 1-of Binder Monsters and 3 Snaps as some removal, and just 2 Dispels, 4 counter spells as the counters, so no Spell Pierce making it in.
Yeah, I think obviously Bath's done really well with the Mono Blue Fair deck and has worked hard at tweaking these numbers, so if I was ever picking this up, I'd definitely just copy and paste that man's list, for sure.
And then I guess the 7th place, Jeskai Wildfire, is something we don't really see. Similar to Corgate's, like, it's a slow blue-white base control deck that we don't really see at the moment.
Yeah.
Scred is pretty decent at the moment, so it's sort of not the worst shout, I guess.
Yeah.
As of sort of interest and stuff in it, there's a 1-of Late to Dinner, which sort of cycles in and out. There's 2 Union of the Third Paths, which I feel is I am going to get burnt out by madness if I do not play more of this card.
Yeah.
1-of Thraben Charm, sort of an interesting choice as well.
Yeah, it's strange. There's a lot of like random 1-ofs. Like, there's a 1-of Breath Weapon, 1 Thraben Charm, probably what would have been 1-of Union of the Third Path as well, but didn't want to die to Mono Red Madness. 1 Late to Dinner, and then they've just went, we'll run 61 cards.
We can't cut any of those ones.
Those 1-ofs are uncuttable.
Yeah, 2 Dispels as well as like the extra counter of choice. Obviously, you got 4 counter spells, but then 2 Dispels is quite a telling choice of how good that card is at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
And then for me, really, the only other standout is this Jund. I guess there's 2. There's the red green monsters list or the red green ramp list. Is for the most part pretty stock, but then it just has 4 ram throughs in the main.
Doesn't want to die to madness. Got to kill that gutter snipe.
Yeah, I'm not even really sure what they've lost for the ram throws because everything else sort of looks like it's there. I guess a couple of boredom parties have been trimmed. There's only 2 boredom parties.
Yeah, it's
and 3 rumbles.
It's a strange one, right? Because to me, it just looks like it took Ponza as its starting point, because like Ponza generally has that weird like boredom party, Sagu, Nyxborn Hydra, like 7 land enchantments, 3 rumbles sort of approach, because it just like can't fit everything in. And then it's just went, we'll just cut the Ponza and put like Banner High, Crushok in and 4 ram throughs and call it a day.
Yeah,
that's basically what it looks like.
Yeah, fair. I could say that.
But yeah, it is a strange one. The numbers are definitely a bit odd. Like 2 Sagas, 2 Nyxborn, 2 boredom parties, as I mentioned, and then 3 rumbles. I don't know how you get to those numbers, but clearly worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's sort of close to saying like, do you really even need the boredom parties? Are you just better playing like the dinosaur at this point and going like super mono green and basically just splash them for Chrysalis?
That's how I prefer the normal ramp decks, the non-Ponza ramp decks, is like you are mono green but you're splashing red for Riven Chrysalis and maybe some sideboard cards. That's how I generally prefer it.
Yeah, because you've got sort of plenty of sources for the Chrysalis with the 4 Sprawls, 4 Jewel Thief, 2 Mountains, 2 Sagus. You got 3 Rumbles as well to dig a little bit further, so you have the sources, I guess.
And you also
maybe just free enough to play more than just Chrysalis.
You do have Avenger Hunter as a long-winded way around as well.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of like random ways to get a red source, like even one. Like even if it is like, as you say, like a treasure. You know, hey, I've cast me Riven Chrysalis and then the rest of my stuff's green. I just feel like the boredom parties are a bit weird. Probably just better off being either Wildens, Generous Ents, or Nyxborns. Probably, I would say. But yeah, sweet to see it do well anyways.
And then the final deck, the 10th place list from Paul 16. which is like a Jund Gardens list, but it's got 4 Gitaxian or Jixin infiltrators in.
It's a
which is pretty sweet tech from Gardens, to be fair.
It's weird how like full circle it's gone out. Like with obviously Riven Chrysalis became a card and people put it in Gardens and were like, right, we're gonna play Jund Gardens. And then it turned into let's just play Wildfire in Gardens, and then it turned into Jund Wildfire. And then they've added Gixion into Jund Wildfire, and it's now put it in Gardens.
Yeah.
It's like went weirdly like full circle.
Yeah.
But I actually do think that this is probably better suited to play at A, Gixion, and B, at the moment. And I think the reason is, for me, is a lot of the tools in how people beat Jund Wildfire is hitting on the really crappy mana base.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, having Troll and Calney Garden as your like non-black sources or black source searchers seems to like sort of make the mana base better. In like sort of my weird experience. Which I don't know. I just feel like this is probably just, in my opinion, actually better than Jund Wildfire. Probably a statement to make, right, when they're playing Riven Chrysalis and Refurb, but I don't know. Calney Garden's actually like the MVP of all Pauper. It's like a pretty busted card.
Yeah, I think the way this deck like ends up, it is basically just Jund Wildfire, but without the downside of the weak mana base, right? Like, the cost of that is you lose Refurb because you don't have the artifact lands.
Yep.
So you lose Refurb, you lose Wildfire, you lose the artifact lands, but then you gain just a stronger mana base and the Calney Garden Fanatical Offering, Eviscerator's Insight, Reckoner's Bargain sort of engine as well.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like a bit of a push-pull to it. I don't think I've ever seen a Gardens list look this aggressive either, with just 4 Infiltrators, 4 Chrysalis, 2 Thorns, 2 Trolls. So it's a lot of creatures. I'm surprised like a Vengeance Hunter hasn't like made it in here instead of the Thorns, to be honest.
It does look like I looked at it first and I was like, oh, there's no like Crypt Rats, like why is it? And then like obviously the more you think, like the Gixion is just insane. It's just like this aggressive thing that's just gonna keep going. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it's got red, so you've got the Breath Weapon as like the Crypt Rat slot if you need it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you're red, so you can play Pyroblast as well.
Seems pretty free. I like the look of this deck for sure.
Moving on to the final challenge, the Sunday challenge, which was the 7th of September. Only 58 players, so a very low Sunday. First place was Grixis Affinity. Second place was Mono Blue Terror. Third was Jund Wildfire. Fourth was Rally Red. Fifth was Mono Blue Terror. Sixth and seventh were another 2 Jund Wildfires. And 8th was Mono Red Madness. And then the 2 near misses, 9th was Mono Black Sack. And 10th, back again, Corgate. Luffy in first with Grixis Affinity.
And 60 cards.
And not a million cards. A 60 card deck. Only 1 Cryogen Relic is the final number. Still got the 1 of Hunter's Blowgun in, but the 1 of Cryogen Relic made it as well. And trimmed, although he's only playing 1 Cryogen Relic, he's still running the like blue heavier card draw package. So 4 Thoughtcast, 4 Bargain, only 1 Offering.
I really do like Grixis Affinity. Like, I think it's solid deck choice, right? Obviously, you get Refurb, you get Crackland, you get Mirror Enforcer. Like, all these things are really good. To me, in my head, it's literally just, it's the same as Corgate, right? Its play patterns are probably pretty similar right now, like things that people have done for ages. But obviously, Luffy's very skilled with this deck, and I would really like to know how long it took him to think and sweat about the 61st card, and then he ended up putting it. Like, that must have took him like 3 days or something, just sweating bullets. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's always interesting to see. Like, obviously, must be a strong stress test on these cards, like all these artifacts that we're getting, like Black Mage's Rod and Cryogen Relic and stuff. Like, all these cards are seeing play, but like they must have like this high bar to obviously compete with all these cards, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see Black Mage's Rod has made that cut in like a good, strong way.
Outside of that, we don't have a lot of other interesting decks to talk about in that top 8, unfortunately. The Rally Red list is very similar to the one from the Friday. I think it squeezed a Fire Blast in, and some Ginger Brutes.
It cut the Manamorphos, right?
Ah, right. Is that what cut? Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's still got the 2 Simps.
Yeah.
But it's added a Reckless Impulse effect, a Fire Blast, and 2 Ginger Brutes instead of the 4 Manamorphos.
Mm-hmm.
All the Terror decks are basically just the Discover and Copy Paste lists.
Yep.
The Jund Wildfire decks are just sort of the mix between the Infiltrator lists and not the Infiltrator lists. They're not running anything particularly spicy.
No, I would say the third place one's the Duress Crackland list is how I would generally differentiate that. The 6th place is the 3 Gixin Infiltrator list, and the 7th place list is the Crackland Toxin list with 2 Candy Trails. It's probably the closest to being interesting.
The 9th place Mono Black Sack list. Again, very similar, if not the same as Hamuda's list, right? Slight change in the sideboard where one Reap in the Grave has been swapped for a Curse Marauder.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Mono Black Sack now, like we're seeing enough of it in the top 8s and enough of it that is very similar. Like we're getting somewhere towards not a set list, but a stock-ish list.
Yeah.
I think Perigee has definitely made a name for itself and has carved a place out for itself in this deck.
Yeah, definitely.
And then sort of alongside that, Nested Shambler has jointly become the now this is the best sack guy, or this is the best fodder guy, I guess. But yeah, sweet to see Mono Black making some waves with its new toy. Because we haven't really seen that much AoE. We were pretty hyped on it, but it is basically just the Beckoner that is the card that's sort of made a name for itself. There's like we see a relic in first, but there's one.
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of high valued cards, but that obviously just haven't made the cut. Obviously, as you say, a relic, there's the discard spell and stuff, but Beckoner obviously being the strong showcase here.
Yeah, I guess we are seeing a few more Gale Blades now, but they're definitely not the 4 of that people hype them up to be. They're like a 2 of, or sometimes 3 of. And then I guess finally the 10th place Colgate list.
Yeah.
Very similar to the one from the Friday. Has only got 1 Outlaw Medic and has Envelops in the main deck. I'm assuming for like High Tide, Wildfire maybe.
Yeah, and Spy as well potentially, right?
Oh yeah, of course for Dread Return. But yeah, 2 Dispel, 2 Envelop for counter spells, and then 2 Throne Jams as well. Other than that, Colgate be Colgate.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
Pretty much. But I know Maka definitely plays this quite a lot. Obviously, tags us in pretty much every time they do well. They're playing the IPL League, so they're often like playing always in the always playing Colgate as well. So it's definitely a good list to trust for sure. Pretty sweet.
Any other thoughts from yourself on these leagues?
No, we're obviously definitely like trending towards the decks are sort of making a name for themselves, which ones you have to aim to beat and all that sort of stuff. You've got Gardens making a resurgence, you've got Colgate making a comeback as well. Like Wildfire is probably making a comeback too, I guess, like Jeskai Wildfire.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty sweet that we've got all these decks and not one of them is like a strong contender for the best deck, which is pretty nice to see. If I was to put a name on any, I'd probably say Terra would be the best deck, to be fair. It's probably the most consistent. But yeah, it's definitely looking like a solid format at the moment, for sure.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because we obviously see Terra, High Tide, Jund Wildfire a variant of Mono Red, whether it be Madness or Rally. Basically every week, in multiples usually. But then the deck that wins every week seems to be somewhat like a bit different. Like obviously we had Mono Black Sack, we had Elves, we had Grixis Affinity. So all three are decks that you wouldn't have probably put in that top 5 bracket, maybe top 4, top 5.
Yeah,
which is quite sweet.
Definitely. Move on to hot takes.
Yeah. So the first listener hot take from last week was from Dacius Terra, and it was that Lux Knight Breacher would top 8. It did not. The EOE cards have not been hitting as hard, unfortunately.
Sag. The next one is an all mono-coloured top 8 next week by Sliverdude. The wasn't far off. We had 5 out of 8 on Friday and Saturday. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
and 4 out of 8 in the Sunday as well. So
it's definitely like, obviously there is strong 2-coloured and 3-coloured decks like Grixis Affinity, Jund Wildfire, etc. And then you've got obviously the other 2-coloured decks. But we're not far off a lot of the monocoloured decks being strong, so there is definitely a chance that could happen moving forward.
Monocoloured be popping off.
Popping off.
My take from last week, which I don't know why I even said this, was that Ponza would win. Just looking at the top 8s from this week, it didn't look that good for Ponza at all. Maybe like the Saturday where there was a bunch of high tide.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, just there's a lot of like artifact lands and aggro decks.
My hot take from last week was that White Weenie will top 8, and did not happen. I don't even see if there was any.
Yeah, it was actually pretty close on, I think, the Saturday. It was 11th.
Oh, yeah.
Quite an interesting list as well, with a 1 of Greatsword, a 1 of Remorsian Rally, and a 1 of Eagles of the North in like a bugler shell.
Oh, sweet.
So you weren't too far off.
Not the worst.
11th. Could have got there on tiebreakers, I guess. It's like that's like a tiebreakery area, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, well.
Hot takes for next week. The first listener hot take is from Moist Moose, and it was that a new deck archetype will make top 8 before Spider-Man releases into the format. One example is the Gruul tokens list that we talked about, I think,
last
the week before last.
With the Tremors and the Molten Gatekeepers and
the
Writhing Chrysalises and stuff.
Would definitely be cool to see something a bit different getting into the top 8. So hopefully that does come true.
Hopefully too. The next one from Harbour Master Dave is that Cryoge and Relictron will top 8 2 challenges this weekend.
I was going to say one's a push, but two's putting out there.
I think the deck's not the worstly it's not badly positioned, right? It's just, again, it's just one of them. You need the dedicated pilots to be playing these challenges.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm fully on the Mono Black hype train for my hot take, and it's that Mono Black Sack will have more copies in the top 8 next week than Mono Blue Terror. Everyone's going to see Hamuda doing well and see all the people there just outside the top 10 playing Mono Black Sack, and we're going to be like, yeah, this is the deck.
One thing I've definitely learned is in Hamuda you must trust.
Yeah.
For sure. So yes, definitely pick up your Mono Black Sack. Following on from that, I'm going on the Jund Gardens hype train, and that I think Jund Gardens will top 4 next week. Be interesting to see. Obviously, Nick Norman did it with Campfire Gardens earlier in like the weekend, like Friday or Saturday. If they'll pick it up, they'll most likely do well and stuff like that. And then yeah. Seems like a good position to be Jund Gardening. Sweet. Anything else to add?
No, that's it from me.
Thank you all for your continued support. Hope you've enjoyed this podcast, and please do not forget to share this with your friends, your family, your local Pauper community, and even your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. That is all from us at Casting Commons. Until next time, and don't forget to stay hydrated. Peace!
Bye.